Picture this. Everyone at the party pulls out their phones to capture the sunset. They're framing the shot, choosing filters, and hunting for the perfect caption. But there's one person just watching it with their actual eyes. In a world where 4.9 billion people are glued to their screens, this person seems like a digital ghost. They scroll, they observe, they might even like a photo or two, but their own profile is a total ghost town. Society treats these people like aliens. We assume they're shy, antisocial, or maybe just have nothing interesting to share. But psychology says that behavior isn't random. It actually reveals a deep level of confidence, emotional intelligence, and a quiet rebellion against a culture obsessed with visibility. Today, we're decoding the minds of the people who choose to stay unseen.
For most of us, not posting in 2026 is essentially a radical act. Social media is designed to tap into the most primitive parts of our brain, the need for social validation. When you get a like, your brain releases dopamine, the same chemical linked to winning at video games. These platforms were literally designed by engineers to be as addictive as possible. But research shows that people who don't post have a different reward system. They aren't immune to dopamine. They just get it from internal satisfaction instead of external applause. This is the difference between intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. Most users seek external validation to feel their lives have meaning, but those who avoid the feed have figured out how to validate themselves. They don't need 200 strangers to like their vacation photo to feel like the trip was worth taking. The experience itself is enough.
This brings us to the first major trait: privacy over popularity. Psychologists say these individuals have a high privacy orientation. They like maintaining control over what others know, see, or think about them. It's not about having something to hide. It's about choosing who gets access to their personal moments. They value their peace of mind more than a digital me gusta. This is a subtle sign of powerful inner security. Secondly, these silent scrollers have what researchers call high self-concept clarity. They know exactly who they are, what their values are, and what gives their life meaning. Because their identity is solid, they don't need a digital mirror to tell them they're enough. While others are busy identity crafting, an unconscious audition for belonging, these people are busy just living. They've outgrown the need to be seen. Third, we have the observer's edge. Because they aren't distracted by crafting their own content, they have more mental energy to observe others. They're the ones who remember your cousin's wedding you barely mentioned, or notice when a friend's posting style changes because they might be struggling. They often turn out to be the most supportive friends because they aren't performing care for an audience. They're reaching out privately because they actually want to help. They prefer authentic conversations over superficial digital noise.
There is also a deeper, more reflective side to this silence. Many of these people are deep thinkers who engage in reflective thinking. They have a locus of internal control, meaning they measure themselves by their own standards, not by what's trending. They understand the comparison trap. They know that scrolling is often a game of comparing your behind the scenes to everyone else's filtered highlight reel. By staying in the background, they protect their mental health from that cycle of inadequacy. However, we must acknowledge the darker reasons why someone might stay off the grid. For some, silence is protection, not just peace. Many people who never post their face or location are survivors of stalking or domestic violence. For them, keeping strict control over their data is a matter of safety and overcoming trauma. Others might be driven by self-presentational pressure, the exhausting fear of being judged or misunderstood if they show up as their real messy selves. Some struggle with perfectionism, overthinking every photo and caption until it's easier to just not post at all. The key insight here is that being unseen is actually a form of power. It allows you to protect what is sacred.
There's a concept called psychological ownership, the feeling that a memory belongs deeply to you. The moment you post it, that sense of ownership fades as the experience becomes shared property for judgment or mockery. By keeping life private, you keep it pure.
Ourselves into personal brands, marketing our lives to an audience that barely looks up from their own performance. The average person spends over 2.5 hours a day on social media. That's 38 full days a year. People who don't post get those 38 days back to read, create, and exist without an audience. They escape continuous partial attention, the trap of never being fully present because you're always thinking about the next post. Their growth, their quiet acts of kindness, and their private victories don't need an audience to be real. They live in your memory, not in your media. So, if you're the person who doesn't post, don't feel like you're missing out. You're not falling behind. You're mastering the art of presence. You're choosing to witness life rather than package it. And in a world desperate to be seen, your silence might just be the most authentic thing about you. You don't need to be public to be powerful. Just live.